Hey, what's up? David Farr here, the Internet Marketing Wizard, and on this video I want to share with you how to convert a old form into a new form. Why would you want to do this? Well, there could be several reasons. One of them might be that the new forms actually do allow you to apply tags, one or more tags to a person when they fill out a form. So maybe you want to use that functionality. Also, the new forms are a bit better with preventing form spam and those evildoers wasting your time by filling out your forms. If that is a problem for you, it's not a problem for everyone, but if that is a problem for you, you might want to consider switching your old form to a new form. There are other reasons, but those are probably the two that I can think of right now. They're the most obvious. And the funny thing is it's not that much work to switch an old form into, or to convert an old form into a new form. And on this video is my intention to show you step by step how to do it. So to start off with, though, this will be considered an advanced tutorial just because we will be diving into the code a little bit. However, it is pretty easy on the advanced side. So if you're not scared of diving into the code just a tiny bit, it's actually quite easy. It's just that if you don't like going to the code at all, this will seem quite advanced. So let's go ahead and get started. So here is my old form that we're looking at here right now on the screen. And by the way, the easy way to know if it's an old form or not is to simply look at the name field. And if it's just name altogether as one field, that's typically an old form. And if the name is actually split apart into first name and last name already, typically that means it's already a new form. So for this tutorial video, we're going to assume that you have an old form that you want to convert it to a new form. So step one is to actually log into One Shopping Cart and go into the web form area and create a new web form that will basically match this web form. So we want to make sure that we ask for the same exact fields, the contact fields and the custom fields that our current old form is asking for. So I'm going to go ahead and just going to leave this page up here so I can reference back to the different fields I have listed here in this form. So that way when I'm making the form inside One Shopping Cart, it'll be a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and log into One Shopping Cart. I'm going to click on Email and Marketing, click on Web Forms. I'm going to go ahead and just click on Create New at the very top here. And I'm going to go ahead and just name this, of course it can be whatever you want, but I'm going to name this my new contact form for so it's new contact form for MagicKidsParty.com. I could put a description here if I wanted to, but I think the form name is going to tell me exactly what this is all about. Now it says, do you want to repeat, do the repeat signups? And really, I just typically leave these the default that they are, how it comes up here. So I typically just give the form a name up here, and then for the email notification, go ahead and put that check in the chat box there. I'm going to type in my email address. And I'm going to click on Next. And now this is where we're going to pick the autoresponder that is subscribed. So typically, whatever autoresponder is being subscribed on the form that we're replacing is the same same autoresponder that we want to subscribe on this new form. So depending on what form you're converting, I guess it kind of depends on which autoresponder you're going to select. But in my case, I know the one I want was the contact questionnaire form. Right here. Alright, and I just want to start it in the very beginning of the campaign when they fill out this form, so I'm just going to pop in a 0 there. Alright, now if I want to apply a tag, I can apply them as a tag here. So anyone that's going to fill out this new form that is going to be, we're converting this form to, can be applied to a tag, but in this case I'm going to go ahead and just skip that part for now, and I'm going to get to the next part. Now this is probably the most important part of making the form here. We want to make sure that we have exactly the same fields that we have listed here in the web form configuration here for the fields, for contact fields and custom fields. So I happen to know we've got address, and by the way, it doesn't matter which order they're in because, well, you'll see why later. Just go ahead and get all the same fields added here. Don't worry about the order. Don't worry about reordering them. Don't do confirm email. Skip that one. If you have country, that's great. Let's see, do I have country? No, I don't. So let's actually remove country. Okay. And go ahead and do first name, last name, home phone. Let's see, do I have fax? I do have fax. And state, work phone, and zip. So I'm basically doing all the contact fields except for confirm email and country. Now if your form has country, of course you should include that as well. Now let's go to custom fields here, and the ones I'm looking for are type of event, date of event, time of event, event site, how'd you hear of me, approximate number of people, and then the additional comments. So now what they're named inside here might be slightly different for you, but here's my additional comments, so go ahead and add that. Now I've got a lot of custom fields here, so I'm going to go ahead and just skip down and try to find the ones here that I know. Hopefully you won't have as many as me, and it won't be as hard for you to find your custom fields that you need here. Event site. Let's see. How'd you hear of us? I think we need type of event still. Here's type of event. We need time of event. And let's see. That might be all of them. Time, type, date, location. How'd you hear of us? Number of people. I think we don't have that yet. So let's see. Okay, here's mine. Approximate number of guests. Alright, so I do believe that is all of them. Let's go ahead and hit next. And if you don't get all of the fields on there, basically what's going to happen is, you know, when someone fills out the form, unfortunately that information won't get passed into your account, into the database. So really important that you try to, you know, get the same exact fields that you currently have in this web form configuration. Now, we're not going to bother changing anything on this page except for the very bottom here, the email consent. We're going to go up here to the options, and we're going to turn off the email consent. And that is it. That is all we have to do. Now we're going to hit next. Don't worry about customizing this. Don't worry about changing the colors or the order of anything. Just hit next. And now we want to use the same thank you page that we're currently using. So, you know, if you don't happen to know your thank you page, the easiest way is just to go into the form that you currently have here. So let me just go into the form. This is the old form. So before we dive in and start making modifications, you know, I always recommend that you take what you already have and copy and paste into a safe place. So I'm going to go ahead and copy my old form code into a blank page here, and that way I just have it just in case if I need to come back to it, if I screw something up really bad. Worst case, I can always just recopy and paste in the existing code, and we should be good to go. And typically, right towards the top of the thank you, towards the top of the form code will be the thank you information here, the thank you URL information. So if you look for that AR thank you URL, you'll see the value equals right here, and this is basically the thank you URL here that one shopping cart is wanting. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy that. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and just paste that into this box here and hit save. Okay, so we've actually just recreated that entire form as a new one-shop web form here. And now what you need to do is actually get the full form code is the easiest. Just go ahead and click in there, copy that out, and then paste it into a notepad file or a Word document, something like that. Just basically so we can get the form code in there. We actually don't need any of it except for a small little line right here. So if you do happen to open this up in a text editing editor that shows you the line numbers, it should be right around line number 41. But anyway, what you're looking for is this here, the form. We'll start off by form class equals and a bunch of stuff right there. So basically what you want is you want to copy this line right here. Okay, so once again, you know, this is an advanced tutorial because we are kind of diving into the code. We're going to have to copy that line right there. Okay, go ahead and just copy that. So once again, that's starting with the form right there, form class, and kind of ending with this MC format email one business right there. Okay, so I'm going to go and now go into our web form. Now, currently this is still the old web form. So what I'm going to do is, actually I'm going to just open this up a little bit, and And let's go ahead and find the beginning here. So you'll see this is the original kind of form action line right here. Let me actually just separate this out a bit so you can see it. Okay, so this is the old form action. So what we're going to do is going to go ahead and just delete that. I know it seems crazy, right? We're going to delete that, and we're going to paste in the new form code. And believe it or not, that is the main step of converting your old form to a new one-shot web form. So believe it or not, right now, if I don't do any other modifications, it will actually partially work already. Now, there is kind of one final thing we have to do to our form fields, and that is we have to convert all of the contact form fields, the IDs, into what the new web forms are. Now, this sounds complicated when I'm talking about, but let me just kind of show you on the screen here what we're looking at here. So you can see on the screen right now is a breakdown of what the old form field names used to be. You can see like name with a capital N, company with a capital C, work phone with a capital W. Those are all the old form field names, okay? And now they've been converted with the new web forms. They are slightly different. For the most part, the only difference is the first letter is no longer capitalized. So, for example, look at home phone. You'll see that the newer web form here is home phone with a smaller h right there. So the only thing to consider, the only exception to that rule is on the name field. The name field actually is now two separate fields, MC-first name and MC-last name. So what we're going to want to do here is convert our existing contact fields to these new, to the slightly new form field names here. Alright, so let's go ahead and just convert those fields. It's really not that bad. The only ones we have to do are the contact fields, and we can leave the event fields the way they are. So let's go ahead and we'll kind of work our way up here. So I see we have the custom event fields down here, so we're going to leave those alone. But right up here, let's just separate this particular one, the zip code. We can see the label, zip code. All we have to change is the ID, where it says ID equals and the name equals. Make sure that is a lowercase z on this particular one. And same thing for the state. Lowercase s on both the ID and the name. Lowercase c for the city. All we're looking for is the name and IDs, making sure they're all lowercase. That's what I'm doing here. Whoops. That's where we need to change it. Name and ID. Okay. And then finally we have the full name up here. So the full name actually requires a little bit extra special attention. We actually need to kind of split that out into two fields. One for first name, one for last name. So it's actually not that hard. All I'm just going to copy that line right there. And I'm going to go ahead and paste it right below it. And let's just go ahead and change where it says full name up here. I change that to first name. And then where it says ID equals name, we're going to put in MC-first name. Same thing here. Okay. And let's come down here to the second one. We'll change that to last name. Actually, make sure that says last name. First name. Okay, and here we go to MC-last name. And I think I'll just copy that and paste that. Okay, so just clean it up a little bit there. We should be done. Now let's save it and just make sure that that it works. Okay. Let's view the page. And when we look at the page here, if we have the form validator set up to make sure that they fill in required fields, it might throw you an error message here because previously, we had just one name field, which is no longer there. Now it's been split apart into two different, a first name and a last name field. So that error message is actually pretty normal to what should happen at this point. Let's go ahead and just clean that up here real quick. Let's edit and go back into that area. I'll show you where to kind of fix that up. That's right down here in this add extra JavaScript box here. You'll see it's got this line right here, please enter your name. So it's looking for the name field right here, and the form validator is not finding that because it is no longer there. It's now MC-first name and MC-last name. So what we're going to do is just real quick, I'm going to copy that line right there, and I'm going to paste it down below so I have something to work off of. I'm going to change this to MC-first name, and I'm going to change the error message to say please enter your first name, and then I'll change this one to MC-last name, and we'll make sure it says please enter your last name. Okay, and if we want the email to be validated as well, we'll make sure we update that because the field name is no longer with a capital E, it's now a small e right there. Okay, let's update and let's take a look at the form. This time we should not receive that error message, and we still did. And one more thing, actually, yeah, totally forgot to tell you this. Let's go back to the editor. Our validator is actually looking for a form named Form1. Now, with the new form code that we paste in there, it actually doesn't say Form1 anymore. In fact, there is no name. So let's just go ahead and just name it Form1 here real quick. So I'm gonna put right in the first beginning part here, right after where it says form, right before where it says class, I'm gonna hit name equals Form1. So notice I put name equals Form1 in quotations right there. And if we update that and view the page, now we don't get that error message. But let's make sure that the form validator still works. So if I try to submit without entering my first name, it says, please enter your first name. All right, so there we go. So we got that. So now we've got the form recreated. We've got the first name separated out from the last name, and you really can't even tell the difference. All of our scripts should still be working. So here's my date picker calendar. The phone number formatter should still work if that was already working to begin with. All this stuff should work. How'd you find me? Who referred you? Things like that. That's all great. Now, the final thing is to test and make sure that all the data that's getting submitted through this form is actually ending up inside one shopping cart. So the best way of testing is to use a fresh, brand new email address that you've never used before. If you use a previous email, like if you use your main email address, test information from previous tests will already be in there, and it will be kind of misleading. So the best way to know for sure that everything's working is to create a disposable email. So we're going to go to disposable.com, and they're going to give us a random email inbox here. I'm going to go ahead and just hit copy to clipboard. I'm going to use that. It's an email that's never been inside my OneShop before, so it's going to seem like a brand new email address to OneShop. I'm going to go ahead and just fill in everything else here using RoboForm, just real quick to save some time. And then on the email address, I'm going to paste in the special disposable email address. So that way it shows in OneShop as a brand new lead. We'll say apartment 2. I'm going to make sure we have data in all these fields, just to make sure that everything is getting taken into OneShop, taken into the database here. So let's just type in some stuff. Online directory, we'll just say gig salad, 90 people, and we'll say testing. And as long as everything's submitted there, everything's filled in, let's go ahead and submit this. we should get taken to the same thank you page that we did on our old form. There really, from the consumer perspective, there really should be no difference here. You really shouldn't be able to tell any difference. So there we go. We got the thank you page. I already got my email notifications there. But the big question is, what is showing up inside one shopping cart? So once again, we use the special email address, and I could go and check this email and see what it got, but not really testing the autoresponder right now. What I'm really testing, make sure that all the form fields got through into my OneShop. So let's go into contacts here and let's search that that email address. So that was this disposable one right here. Let's go ahead and search that and bring up that contact record, and let's just make sure that everything I typed in got submitted. Now maybe I didn't type in a fax because the fax is empty. So I don't recall if I did actually type in a fax there. If I did, that's telling me that there is something wrong with the fax field. And I know fax isn't that important nowadays, but great example. If you do something that's empty like this, either you didn't type anything into that field, or there's a problem. So let's take a look at custom fields here. All right, so I've got my time, I've got the date, event site, number of guests, how'd you hear of us? Perfect. So it is looking like we are rock and rolling. We just converted an old form to a new form, and now we have all the benefits of the new form. If we want to change the autoresponder that's subscribed, or change the thank you page that is displayed after they fill out the form, we can easily do that just by going to email marketing, web forms, and then find that web form that you just created, and then you can change those settings right within one shopping cart now, with no longer needing to go into that that form code like you did in the old form. So I hope this video has been helpful, and thanks for watching.